Welcome back to the channel. It is your man King Howie, KHTV, and we have breaking news. Aaron Rodgers addressed the Bleacher Report by Tyler Dunn, and they talked about it on NFL Network, and this is what he had to say.
All right, more now on the Aaron Rodgers interview with ESPN Radio Wisconsin, responding to the Bleacher Report article that came out last week. In that Bleacher Report article, there was an alleged phone call. Team president Mark Murphy allegedly called Aaron Rodgers to tell him that he had hired the new head coach, Matt LaFleur. Murphy allegedly told Rodgers, quote unquote, "Don't be the problem" with the new head coach. Rodgers responded to that just a short time ago.
The article basically said, "Don't be a problem."
It's ridiculous. It is 100% patently false. So it's either he made that crap up, or what he would probably do as a writer is say, "Oh, this is my source's problem. They told me something." I talked to Mark like last week, and I said, "Mark, did you tell somebody about the conversation?" He goes, "That's ridiculous." And I said, "Because that's not what happened." And he told, "Yeah, of course that's not what happened. We had a great conversation, like we always do."
Okay, and the he that Rodgers was referring to was the author of the Bleacher Report article, Tyler Dunn. To this airing right now of Total Access, Dunn has not taken to social media to respond to that, because obviously they're saying there are two different versions of the truth here, and only one can be true. Coach, we'll leave the anonymous sources alone if you want to. We know all of you guys were on the bad end of anonymous sources and quotes and whatnot. But let's talk about the new head coach, Matt LaFleur. This is a man who's in his 30s, just like the Super Bowl winning future Hall of Fame quarterback is. What is job one for Matt LaFleur walking in the door today when they first got together at the offseason program as it begins today?
Job one is developing a relationship with the quarterback.
Sure.
And there's no question Matt LaFleur comes in, he has got to get this right. I mean, he has got to get with Aaron and make sure that he lets him know how he wants things done and how they're going to do things, and then he gets the buy-in. This is this guy is obviously getting paid as well as anybody in the league. You got to have buy-in. If you get that buy-in from this guy, it's going to permeate the roster, and everything's going to have a chance to go smooth. If you don't get it, you're going to be in trouble.
Coach, you don't think that Aaron Rodgers has a little bit of something in it too? You just had Mike McCarthy there for all of these years. They've been very successful. But again, like we talked about before, one Super Bowl appearance, one Super Bowl win. At some point, you got to start taking responsibility for some of the things that you're doing wrong here too. Again, one of the top arm talents in our league, and to only have only been to the Super Bowl that many times, only once. To me, that's an issue too, and Aaron Rodgers has to take some sort of responsibility for that part of the game as well.
Well, one thing I sit back and I look at, I see a young coach coming in with a polished veteran quarterback, right? It's the problem. I won't say a problem. It's one of the things we have now in football. These young coaches come in, and you get with a veteran quarterback, and the age difference is not that different, not that far off.
4 years apart.
4 years apart. If I'm Aaron Rodgers and I'm looking at Coach LaFleur coming in, what has he done in the league?
That's what
What has he done in the league to persuade me, to get me to believe in it? Exactly. No heads on the wall, right?
Right.
Some kind of way, and you mentioned it, Coach, you have to get him from the beginning to sell that gospel that you're preaching so he can buy in early.
And that gospel, as you just referred to it, probably happens, what's interesting, is on the whiteboard and in the film room, because Rodgers is not necessarily going to respond to, "Hey, tell me, you like to fish a little bit, like be buddy-buddy." Rodgers, if you read the Bleacher Report article, is a guy who wants to have your respect because you know X's and O's, and you can show me how I can get these 11 guys into the end zone and get us back into the Super Bowl. So I would think that LaFleur has to sell him on his offensive system, and Aaron, this is how you're going to throw 40 touchdowns this year. This is how we're going to score 35 points a game this year.
This is how I'm going to get you better. All players respond to coaches who are like, "Look, I just want to get you better, bro." A lot of people say you're one of the top quarterbacks in this league, but I can get your 3-step game better. I can get your 7-step game a little bit better. I can run the ball a little bit more so that you can have some help toward the end of the game. I can do those things better. I think if you tell that story to Aaron Rodgers, I think that's how you sell him. That's how you bring him in.
Absolutely, 100%. Players want to get better. If you can help a player improve, and the coach, and you believe in that coach and his ability to help you, then boom, you're going to have their ears, and they're going to eat it all up.
Look, Rodgers is in mid-30s, MVP, Super Bowl MVP, Super Bowl winning. This is, the money is set for his great-great-great-grandchildren. This is all about trying to get at least one more, if not multiple, Super Bowl rings in the 5, 7, 10 years, whatever he has left in pro football. I think we all agree on that. Today, though, was more about clearing the air for Aaron Rodgers, a little bit more from the radio interview with ESPN Radio Wisconsin. In the Bleacher Report article, a couple of the names that were heavily quoted and or perhaps sourced were former Green Bay Packers Jermichael Finley, a former tight end, and the former wide receiver, former Pro Bowl wide receiver, Greg Jennings. The radio hosts asked Rodgers about those two guys specifically as it relates to the Bleacher Report article.
The same two guys. Every time there's something about me, it's the same two guys. I was 15 feet away in the locker room from you for years. If you had a problem with my leadership, come talk to me. If you have a problem about the way I'm doing something, or if I said something you didn't like, come talk to me. This is years later now. They haven't been in our locker room, and it's the same tired stories.
Have anyone felt that way before?
I mean, he has a point. I mean, he does have a point. I mean, if he felt that way about my leadership, come talk to me, come holler at me. Kind of like what we just showed Le'Veon Bell and James Conner work their way out through a text. I mean, you have my information. I mean, we can talk. And I think sometimes that's the issue with this generation of players.
Well, you don't. I think when the trust is your issue, you kind of normally keep it to yourself. Because when you go in and confront the quarterback about what he's doing wrong,
you're playing. You could be playing with fire.
Yeah,
could be playing with fire.
I don't want my targets to go down in the game.
Does this make you miss coaching a lot, Jack?
I love being around ball.
Yeah.
It's great to be here talking ball right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, just enjoying this.
Or Twitter, or radio interviews,
Whatever,
or
right.
anonymous sources.
That's part of the game now, Scott. It's part of the game.
Right? Yep. That is true. That is true.
We're just part of the entertainment package, right?
That's it.
Yeah.
You know, so.
That is true. Well, when this entertainment package continues, big deal.
And there you have it. Aaron Rodgers addressed the Bleacher Report, and hopefully, you know, this clears all of this shit up so we could get on into the 2019 season. I'm out.